I hated it because the rats.
That's one way to start us off.
Yeah.
We're the
CineBeards!
and we are quite literally about to eat poop.
Yay!
Pooplets. Poop-shaped candies.
Thank you for the poop candy all the way from the US of school shooting.
Also, our official school shooter survivor pants.
These are our school shooter survivor pants.
Quick aside, you cannot make those jokes that I found out.
Oh, can't you?
Really?
Yeah.
Is school shooting a taboo there?
Apparently.
Almost like they should do something about it.
It's like the word cunt, which is also apparently something you should not say.
Really?
It's the thing is, you gotta remember, like, school shootings are like, it's a sacred thing. It's enshrined in their constitution.
Making a school shooting joke is like drawing a picture of Muhammad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cultural appropriation.
Yeah,
that's the problem you ran into, Jason.
That's our thing.
You can't say that word. That's our word.
This poop tastes kind of like Coke.
It does.
Kind of like cola.
And if that's not show business, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody
Back.
to our bottom best top 10 worst fucking movies of 2019.
Hooray!
These aren't the movies that we thought. Well, I mean, mine's the ones that I thought were the worst. Yours, Marcus, you put it together as the movies that just pissed you the fuck off.
They pissed me the fuck off.
Mine were a combination of those two categories.
Yeah.
I only
And
have,
Dion submitted Joker.
I have two movies on my list, both of which one which made me angry and one which just disappointed me a little.
So I'm assuming Joker's number one on your list then.
I get yes, not that I remember it exists.
Your list of
that completely changes the but whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we could just make Joker like an honorable mention for me.
dishonorable.
Yes.
Well,
it's on spoiler alert, it's on the actual list
Okay,
because
so
I fucking put it there.
So just pop it one higher then.
I can do that.
Okay.
Okay, so first I
Knock,
think we
knock.
should get into the
knock knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Obligatory knock knock joke.
Obligatory knock joke. Who? Personally, show me a speedboat. Thank you, Dion.
Ah, nailed it.
All right.
I think this is the worst knock joke
You
ever.
set him up by knock him down.
I think we should.
And we're back.
It only took half an hour of faffing about.
God help
You
us.
got us nice
let's,
pants.
yeah.
We're putting on our lovely
Yeah, we're
pants.
all wearing our lovely
I'm
Star Wars comfort
deeply
home
in love
pants.
with these pants.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It feels so good on my skin.
Yeah.
And other not creepy things to say.
So I think we should just start with the dishonorable mentions.
Yes.
We can go through them at a
At a brisk pace.
Okay, so we won't say
we'll
much
start
about that.
with
I'm so
this
curious
one was,
to hear all of this because I think because you guys watch movies before I do, I managed to avoid basically all,
Oh yeah.
all
Oh,
the
no, you do.
stinkers.
And
You
I
do.
wade neck deep into the garbage to
Yeah.
stare at it in the eyes.
And then by his recommendation, I do the same. I'm a follower. So the first dishonorable mention, one that I remembered, but I think everyone else forgot happened, fucking Serenity. The Matthew
I didn't
McConaughey
watch
movie where he's stuck in a fucking video game played by his son.
I fucking forgot that.
I do
Excuse
not
me?
even know the premise of that
Oh
film.
yeah, no.
What?
It's
I
a weird sort
super
of
forgot
island
that movie
fantasy
happened.
thing.
Oh my God.
Like he's this like super like ship captain fisherman guy, and he's
Yeah.
out to catch a giant fish called Justice. But it turns out he's stuck in a video game that his son is playing, and it's his son like developing and trying to get this game to get through
forgot.
trauma or some shit
I
like
forgot.
that. And it's fucking bizarre and bad.
Excuse me as I fold up into myself. Gee, wait, what is the Venn diagram between people that are gonna go watch a movie because the premise involves a video game, and also people who want like Matthew McConaughey's son working through trauma?
Yeah.
Well, he's got to
Well, it's
find
like
justice.
It's like
Dion.
that. It's like that Mel Gibson movie where he walks through trauma with a hand puppet of a beaver. Dion, the look on your face tells me right now that you think I'm lying to
No,
you.
I'm just what?
Yeah, Dion, eat a pooplet.
Okay,
I will.
okay. After this recording session, we're gonna watch a trailer for a movie, and it's gonna blow your fucking
What's it
mind.
called?
It's called The Beaver.
Any relation to The Lobster, because that was good.
The Lobster was real
The
good.
Lobster was good. Seriously,
Okay.
Mel Gibson gets divorced, and his life gets all fucked up. I
Yeah, I
think
know,
it,
but
think
what's
it,
in the movie?
Yeah, no, you see, that's the thing, like, I'm not sure where the line is drawn from him playing himself, and then he gets this puppet.
Well, does his character believe in the Holocaust?
Yeah,
I mean, that's how you can kind of tell.
I'm gonna
but-
let you discover that.
Okay.
When you
Oh,
watch
boy.
it.
Oh boy.
Yay!
And he reconnects with his
Boy.
daughter, who's a straight. Seriously, we're gonna watch the trailer. It's gonna
my
blow your
God.
fucking mind. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke movie, but it's serious.
Let's move on with these 20 odd honorable mentions.
Let's move on to Countdown, because death, there's an app for that.
Do you know, everything in this movie, they missed by just that small amount, just like with not calling it the killer app.
Yes.
Yeah.
That same, like, okay, this is obvious, they should do that. No, they don't do that.
Yeah, everything was a near miss, and it's the wasted potential of the movie that makes me angriest. Also, the design of death is super lame.
It's
Like,
not death.
It's a demon.
Yeah.
And like
You see it at the
Dude,
end, and I'm like, is
the-
is
the
it like haunting a costume? What's up?
the explanation for the demon is the maddest shit ever. Because it is this old demon that if you read the scroll, it would take your soul. And then
It shows an old picture of the demon holding the scroll, and the scroll looks exactly like the fucking app.
And then somehow the demon gets an Android developer to make an app for it. And then, but the best part of the movie is that the app only has 3 stars on the App Store. Like, what? Why would
If
the
it only has 3
supernatural?
stars,
Why
then
would
no one would
why
download
would
it.
the supernatural demon app not give itself 5 stars? Why would it let people rate it? What is happening? And then they go in, and then they hack the Matrix at one point. They go into the code.
Do they go into the
And they
computer?
change the amount of years they have left on the clock.
It is fucking
Wait,
ridiculous.
so as a side sort of thing to this, you could technically hack yourself to be immortal.
Yes,
no,
but
it punishes you if you do that.
you see, then you change your fate, and then you violate the thing that kills you. This is the thing that actually kills you with that, because if you download the app and it says
You
you
just
only
die
have-
the way you're gonna die
You die the way
normally.
you're gonna die. But if you do anything to change your fate, you die, because in the EULA it says you can't. So
So
if
if
you read,
signed,
so if you just read the EULA and clicked reject, it would download the app, but you wouldn't die.
That just reminds me of that Family Guy joke where they put in the Apple EULA that you can get kicked in the balls at any time.
What the fuck?
No, dude, it's dog shit. It's dog
I
shit.
can't wait to watch it.
okay, next
moving
honorable
on.
mention.
2019's Shaft.
Shaft?
That was on
Boy,
yours,
what a
I'm assuming?
misfire.
I wanted to watch it
Yeah, I
because
was
like
keen
I
for
like
it.
I like Shaft.
I'd like look.
Who's the
here's-
private dick that gets all the chicks? Shaft.
It's so misguided. Like the biggest problem is with the movie is
3 generations of Shaft in one movie.
besides a 3 generation of Shafts in one movie, Samuel L. Jackson shows up as Shaft, the same Shaft that he was in the 1999 movie.
Right.
But he's supposed to have aged a lot, but he just looks the fucking same because he's Samuel L. Jackson.
Sam Jackson.
And he's looked the same for 30 fucking years.
It's like in Gemini Man, which I'm sure will be on our list.
Oh boy,
where,
is it.
In order to make Will Smith look younger, they just change his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it's trying to be a movie for an audience that just doesn't exist.
That's sad.
It's just sad.
So
and
it was
depressing.
no Dolomite.
No Dolomite. It's exactly
Ooh, that is apparently very good. I missed it. But
you missed. Oh, dude, it's really We'll get there.
Yeah,
next episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shaft. It's no surprise that Netflix was able to pick it up for a bargain.
For $1 in a bin.
Yeah, for about
Netflix
$3.50.
Jinx,
Yeah,
you
tell
missed
me
me,
about
Stephen. I hate you.
next,
Next, dishonorable mention.
God, we're
we're
not
going
even in
to
the list.
Men in Black 4 or
didn't
Men in Black
watch it.
International.
wow,
watch
that's an
it.
honorable
Also
mention.
watch
That
it.
was on my list.
I didn't watch it. Is it shit?
It was pretty shit. Yeah.
Fuck. I'm so
Didn't
sad
we go see it together?
because Tessa
Who did
Thompson
I- Who
and
did I go see it with? I did a double bill.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
I did a
Didn't you
dou-
do it with Rachel?
you didn't do it with me.
I did it with Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I watched it.
Because like I love Tessa Thompson and
Like Tessa
what's his
Thompson
name?
and Chris Hemsworth
Yeah.
are always
They would-
great, and that was the only reason I sat through the movie. But the rest of it is just so like I didn't have it on my bad list because they saved it for me to an extent. But it's just looking back, like even their chemistry was just not enough to save that boring ass paint by numbers, sweaty
And
cops.
even the chemistry in it felt strained.
That's annoying.
Like
Anyway.
it wasn't natural fun like Ragnarok. It was
Yeah.
just
Boo.
That's the Taika effect.
That's the, yeah.
right.
Next up, the art of what Pa Kent murder dog rain racing.
This movie has
Yeah. Come on, chorus.
like, you know how we were watching the movie,
The core.
the
yes.
trailer. We were watching the trailer and we're like, shit, it's showing us the whole movie. Like, meets wife, wife gets cancer, wife dies.
Yeah.
Nah, that's the first half an hour.
What?
There's
Yeah.
more?
There is
Is more racing in the rain?
There's a whole big fallout with the father
dog?
of the dead, like with the husband and the wife's parents, like fighting over the child and who gets to raise her because you can't make money racing.
What?
It's like one of the most lucrative sports ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those NASCAR drivers make a fucking mint.
Anyway.
Anyway, I'm gonna give you guys a chance to guess here what
Okay.
the batshit crazy ending might be.
Okay.
Okay.
But the dog dies. You know the dog dies.
It has to
course it
die.
does.
Dog has to die. What does the dog do just before, during, and after death, if I'm gonna have to time frame it like that?
Races the car.
Wait, yeah, no, I was gonna say that.
He does a sweet kickflip on his
He does a
skateboard
sick drift.
over a car.
A sick drift. Jason, you're killing me.
even-
Jason, you're killing me.
The dog, through sheer force of will, has itself reborn as a small human child, who then goes on to be trained by the dog's previous owner.
What? What?
I'm so glad this is how your movie ended because it's gonna make talking about my dog movie so much better. That is some Twilight shit.
Ridiculous. And what makes it worse is the previous owner of the dog, Denny Swift. He fucking has a moment where he meets the child where he recognizes that this is his dog as a boy.
What the fuck? Okay, so wait, your movie and my movie were kind of the same movie then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much, I think.
What the fuck is going
It
on?
is fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
I was watching, I was like, no.
So basically, it's just like this is just Buddhist propaganda.
Okay. Well, Marcus, next we have to talk about my movie.
Yeah, it's on the honorable mention. So
Okay,
yeah, let's
okay,
go to
okay.
a dog's journey.
A dog's journey. Okay. So,
Oh, no.
I've got to guess as to how this movie's gonna end.
Is
So,
it, is,
are
was
you-
that last year?
are you
2019
familiar?
was a fucking long year.
Are you familiar
Yeah.
with the Nietzschean concept of eternal recurrence or the Buddhist concept of eternal reincarnation? Because that is what this movie is.
How many times do you have to watch a dog die?
You have to watch a dog die 4 times.
Jesus.
4 separate occasions a dog dies.
And no John
same
Wick
dog.
revenge.
Okay, this is the thing. The
Same
dog,
dog spirit.
the dog's soul and consciousness belongs to Dennis Quaid. Belongs to it belongs to his character. It's his
Can
character's
we
dog.
just say it's
and
Dennis Quaid
It's his
himself?
character's dog, or is it like
it's his character's dog. His character's dog.
Okay.
And it has been reincarnated throughout its life to serve Dennis Quaid. And
Fucking hell.
and Dennis Quaid charges his dog on its deathbed to protect his grandkid. And its mission is that, is then when it dies, it is then reincarnated as a puppy and then goes to look for
grandkid.
this kid, goes to look for this grandkid and protect it, and it struggles then. However, the dog remembers all its past lives and dying and being born
How do they
as
convey
different
this?
sexes with words. It's all the narration. The dog narrates in its head, like.
So we
Palmer
watched the
did.
same movie, yeah.
But the thing is the dog remembers. It's like, I have to go now, and then it wakes up. It's like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
That
and I'm
was
just like, what the fuck?
That was the second time I died.
And that's the end of my story. Seriously, the dog remembers all its past lives, and it remembers dying and being born, and it gets confused every time it's born as a different sex. The movie is fucking batshit insane.
What?
Batshit insane. Oh god. Okay, so part of it is this girl that it is protecting is fucking stupid. Like S rank moron. and she believes that this. Also, Dennis Quaid can peg every time the dog is reincarnated. He meets the dog 6 reincarnations deep and like sees that it's his dog.
Yeah, of course.
And she believes that this thing is this force for destiny and meets her old childhood friend. But because in a previous incarnation, the dog was trained as a cancer-sniffing dog, it sniffs out cancer in her best friend and they catch it early. But because his best friend's girlfriend is materialistic and bad, she leaves him. But the friend is there. And the friends... Oh, dude, no, it's bad.
That's
Moving on.
Hi.
moving on.
What the fuck is
Don't
going
watch
on?
dog movies in 2019. Don't watch.
What the fuck is
You know what? I am officially revoking that congratulations to dogs. 'Cause they had a pretty bad year themselves.
Yeah.
What is happening?
So, Glass made a dishonorable mention.
Fuck
and I think
Glass.
this is more because it was such a
It
disappointment.
was
was a
such a
huge disappointment.
letdown. Such a massive letdown. Like, everybody that was good in the previous film was not as good in this film, and it was all of the worst parts of Unbreakable.
including the writer and director.
Yes!
Yeah.
It was just shit, and the twist was the shittest thing ever, that there was actually a secret society all along that had been repressing superheroes since the dawn of time.
Spoilers, by the way. Fuck them.
Yeah, no, and it's...
Don't waste your time with Glass.
Don't waste
Yeah.
time. It's just shit.
Next up, this one really pissed me off. Like, for real. Like, I watched until the title sequence, and then I refused to watch it any further.
Which is?
Terminator Dark Fate.
Oh, I
haven't
legally
seen it.
purchased that last night.
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
I'm actually still
okay, so
interested.
let me tell you how this movie fucking opens.
Okay.
Because it's got a spoiler in it, and you're not gonna want to watch the fucking movie.
What?
It opens, right,
Eh?
with Sarah Connor
Yeah.
and John Connor.
John Connor.
John Connor in...
Played by that kid that got fat.
No, they actually use a...
Hey, I'm sitting right here.
They actually use a body double and facial de-aging, blah blah blah. It looks like he did in T2,
I've seen
but it
pictures
doesn't
of
make
you as a
sense
kid,
because
yeah.
they
You didn't
timestamp it
get-
as 1998, which puts it as a couple of years after, but he
Yeah.
hasn't
Yeah,
aged at all.
Yeah, of
Anyway,
course, yeah.
so it's 1998. They're in Bolivia or some shit at a
Classic.
beach resort, you know.
course.
And
That
Sarah
seems about
Connor does this whole thing like, I stopped the end of the world. I saved 3 billion people. Then young Arnie shows up with a shotgun, shoots fucking Edward Furlong in the chest and murders him.
I mean, I wish that would happen the whole way through the third Crow movie.
Yeah.
But, you know, I can't...
I kind of
So-
wish that would
so
happen
they-
in T2 if we're
So,
being honest.
so
Yeah.
they kill John
Hurry,
Connor
you not to go.
like 1 minute and 37 seconds into the fucking movie.
Yeah?
And then she's like, I could save 3 billion people, but I couldn't save him. And then young Arnie just walks off onto the beach and just leaves.
That's weak. That's pretty
Now, what you have to understand is this is supposed to replace T3, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we saved this guy. He's the savior of humanity in T2. And then literally 1 minute and 37 seconds into the new canonical sequel, he gets murdered?
I wonder when
Dennis is puss annoying.
He
he
is.
is.
He is,
I
but
just
still.
wonder if in the next time they soft reboot it as a direct sequel to T2,
Yes.
if James Cameron will once again say
Hey.
that it is finally the return of his Terminator.
Oh, and another thing, because I then just watched more shit about it. So you know how Terminators are unthinking, unfeeling.
Right.
They just do that. Yeah, so apparently the reason old Arnie is in the movie is because it's that Terminator that killed John Connor suddenly develops feelings and feels bad and settles down in a cabin to start a family. And has
What?
a joke
How
about
does it
enjoying
start?
life.
How does it start a family?
Don't ask me how
With a
robots
turkey
fuck.
baster.
That's quite literally exactly what I'm asking you.
I don't know.
With attachments, Jason. With plugins. Power tools.
It's
With pneumatics.
It's a shit show.
Okay,
And
that's bad. Next.
And he just walks into town and he's like, I'm adopting you.
Do not resist.
Congratulations.
You are being saved.
What's
next,
next?
dishonorable mention in the tall
Come
grass.
with me if you want Christmas dinner.
Boo.
Man, again, what a fucking disappointment that was.
I'm glad you guys warned me because I would have watched it.
I also would have watched it.
Yeah.
It's just
Especially
disappointing.
seeing as I just watched that other
1917.
Yeah,
not
1922.
1922.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's good. Thomas Jane and the
Yeah.
Thomas Jane and all the
rats.
Good. So
That
fucking
movie
good.
fucking
1922
disturbed.
and Gerald's Game.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah.
immediately have watched
That
it.
movie,
Exactly.
Same.
1922, disturbed me on a very real physical level
Yeah.
because the rats.
Well, the rats and Gerald's Game
Yeah.
because of.
Yeah.
But we're talking
Dion
about.
can't take hand
But we're
stuff.
talking about. Oh,
Well, wrist like this stuff.
man, I can't wait for you to watch another movie with numbers.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
Nothing.
You'll find out.
Next.
We're talking about Zombieland 2. Double
Fuck
tap.
that movie.
Really?
It sucked.
Really?
It.
I heard such good things about it.
It is so derivative.
Of?
Itself. It is just a lot like it's laugh track. It's just like remember
remember
all
this
those
cool
jokes?
thing we did?
Let's do those jokes again. It's like, hey, remember,
been long enough.
remember Zombie Killer of the Year? Let's do Zombie Killer of the Decade. And then, yeah, it's also really
Aw.
cheap. The visual effects are quite cheap, and they've taken all the blood squibs are CG, and they don't look very good. And now there's like different classes of zombies, like it's fucking Left 4 Dead. Like it.
No.
Because zombies evolve after death.
No, it was just it's shitty, and the performances from everyone were not that great.
Just phoned it in.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson was great, but that's because
I mean, she's always great. Hey, come on, we're trying to record.
But that's because she's Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a disappointment.
Yeah, I did not enjoy
That's
the
why
film.
it's a dishonorable mention, I guess.
Yeah.
How many dishonorable mentions are left?
That was it. We've done all
Okay.
10
Oh, thank
dishonorable
God.
mentions.
So we're on to our list of 10.
We're on to our list of actual 10 worst movies of
Wait, these were just the-
2019.
These are
Those
just
are just the
dishonorable
dishonorable
mentions.
mentions.
We watch a lot of shit.
I will tell you now.
There are 10 others.
I will tell you
Yes.
now.
Holy
the movie
shit.
that I had as my number one, I don't know where it's gonna sit on there, but it should have gotten double points because it was so fucking far and away the worst movie that I have seen.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Oh, God, I can't wait.
I've legally
I'm so
purchased
curious.
it,
Go, go, go,
and
go,
I'm
go,
gonna watch
go,
it
go, go, go.
tonight.
This is good radio.
In 10th position, a World War II movie directed by one Roland Emmerich.
What?
Midway!
Oh, I'm so glad they finally adapted that Sabaton song
yeah.
Yeah.
to the movie.
Too bad they did it shit.
You don't understand how shit this movie is.
I cannot
You
wait
don't.
to watch this with Thomas and Keyboards, because Keyboards is a stickler for anything that's even slightly Thomas's bestie.
Jake,
Jake,
keyboards.
you
met him
would have met him
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah, you
I
would
would
have.
have.
He
Fuck
is
off.
a stickler for anything that is even slightly off historically.
Yeah,
So
he's
with history films like I am with Queen
Yeah,
biopics.
he's an archaeologist. so,
Basically,
like,
it is to him what cringes to me.
Oh,
So
shit.
basically, me sitting there going, like, yeah, that's going to be him watching this movie, and I cannot wait.
yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
what happened was Roland went to the Chinese film board and
Roland
were like,
McDoland.
and was like, hey, how much money can you give me? And they were like, we can give you a lot, but you've got to use our really fucking terrible VFX houses, and also we need some Japanese propaganda. And like, when we say a little
Fuck
bit,
you, Dolphin.
we
Fuck
mean-
you, Whale.
dude, there is a scene where the Doolittle bombers that bombed Tokyo and then
Yes.
escaped into China.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
remember
scene.
that from Pearl Harbor.
I remember that from 30 Seconds Over Tokyo. Shut the fuck up, Box. There's a scene where, and Doolittle's played by Thomas Jane. Amazing cast.
How did they
Bizarre
drag him into
performances.
that?
Yeah, no, if you look at the cast,
Dude,
it's-
the cast is awesome.
Oh.
Anyway, so they're walking along on this like Chinese road, and they're all a bunch of civilians, and these Zeros appear from nowhere, start strafing all the civilians and killing them all. And Thomas Jane is like, oh sorry, Aaron Eckhart. Is saying, I was confused with this too. Is like, what are they
was
shooting
the
at?
person.
There's no targets here. There's no strategic value. And the Chinese man's like, we are the targets. Hard cut to mass grave of Chinese civilians. And you're just like, there's some racial tension here. There's some stuff going on here.
There's some propaganda
There's
here.
a little bit of propaganda going on here.
Oh boy.
And also,
I mean, it would be really awkward if, like, the Chinese ever did anything wrong.
yeah.
but like it's fine.
Yeah, and like not to discount the horrible things that Japan did in the Second World War, because they did some fucked up shit.
yes,
like
they did.
Everybody did fucked up shit
legit,
in World War II.
but
Yeah.
but it was the war. But I never thought I'd say this, but Pearl Harbor looks good by comparison.
Wow.
And I'm talking about like far and beyond everything else, beyond the propaganda, beyond the shitty story, beyond the confusing edits. It's just a poorly, cheaply made film. The VFX, like, what are you gonna, if you're Roland Emmerich, what are you gonna put all your money into?
Disaster
The
VFX.
effects, because I want it to look legit. But it looks like it was made in the late aughts. Like, it looks like a 2010 movie. From
So
a
it, looks like,
VFX.
so it looks like his 2009 movie 2012.
It looks even worse. Yeah, it was confusing.
I know.
It looks almost as good as, like, it doesn't look as good as that. And like, you want your, explosions and your things to be spectacular,
Yeah.
but they really weren't. They were really understated and shitty.
Just made me think of that Chris Angel clip.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah!
Midway is the Chris Angel of World War II movies.
Yeah!
You heard it here first.
This is at the
My favorite
premiere.
part about that-
Yeah!
My favorite part about the Chris Angel thing is you can see that he was driving up the ramp slowly and they
Yeah,
sped up the
He,
footage.
he
slowly.
accelerates and then immediately slows down and the footage speeds up. It's like, get a constant shot, and then 5 seconds later and like, sweep, 2 different shots, different time of day, different light.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's spectacular.
But yeah, so Midway fucking sucks. Watch it.
Midway
Don't pay
sucks.
money for it.
I
The-
won't.
the
I'll
only-
wait for it to go to
The
Netflix.
only positive thing I can say about Midway is that when I was watching Cats, it was playing in the cinema next door, and the sound of gunfire and explosions was reverberating through the wall and massively improving my Cats experience.
Alright.
On a side note, I still can't find Cats anywhere for legal purchase. Like, not even a
It's
Because it wasn't nominated for anything, so you can't get it.
Yeah, they
streamed out
ditched
of
it off. It dropped off the VFX roll.
Oh,
That-
I can't imagine why.
That's
But
why
that-
the legal purchases
but I-
for films that are
But
still
I mean,
there.
like, even
Oscar
you know,
consideration.
like
Yeah.
like usually those.
Oh,
yeah,
but
no,
they're
but nobody's
all
gone
in-
to see it yet,
Well, the
Dion.
thing is, apparently
No, when
people
I
are
went,
going
the
to watch
cinema
it.
was full of people there for the exact same reason that we were.
When I went,
to go
I
watch
was
The
alone.
Room.
I was absolutely alone.
They are absolutely going to be double bills for The Room and Cats.
Yes.
For sure.
Oh, speaking of which, your favorite cinema has reopened at Grand West.
Really?
The Avalon is reopened. I just heard a thing about the radio about this past week.
It's so good because if you go at the only reason that cinema is there is because people drop their kids off there while they go gamble. So there's no
Yep.
one there for the late shows. It's just private. I mean, no, it's always full and terrible. Don't go.
and it's full of drunk gamblers.
Yeah, drunk gamblers.
Yeah, drunk gamblers, and number 9 on our list, Will Smith versus himself.
Yo.
Glorious
Oh,
120
man.
FPS.
Okay. Did you turn the motion smoothing on?
I turned the motion smoothing
Boy,
on.
did I!
And then I very shortly thereafter turned it off because I nearly vomited.
Speaking of Will Smith, by the way, we already have a guaranteed thing for our bingo because they're already writing the next Bad Boys movie.
Yep, they are.
Woo!
One last time! Just one last time!
I put that bingo block on there. So
Yeah, you do.
Alright. So, Gemini Man, tell me about
Gemini.
it.
did
how
you
good was
like
it?
the VFX from Blade 2?
Oh my god, yes.
Then you prepare to be disappointed because this is worse.
Dude, that final sequence with
Oh
the
my
third
God, with the
version,
third Will
where he's,
Smith.
where he's
There's a secret third Will
There's a
Smith that's
secret
even younger.
Whoa, so it's current Will Smith versus
okay.
Independence Day Will Smith versus Fresh
No,
Prince
the
Will
two
Smith.
Will Smith and Independence Day Will Smith team up.
Yes,
Okay.
to
And
fight Fresh Prince.
To defeat them, Shoot 'em Up sends in
Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince Will Smith.
Yeah, because Shoot 'em Up raised Independence Day to be his son. You know, raised him normally,
yeah.
but
Like, as
Shoot
he's
'em
like,
Up.
I found you as a child.
But
and
Shoot 'em Up
adopted
also
you.
created a whole clone army of Fresh Princes on the planet from Clone Wars.
You know what? You know what's funny? I understand
I'm not joking.
exactly what you mean
Not
because I
joking.
know who you're talking about. I catch
You're
every
joking?
single reference.
Jesus.
The thing is, if you're gonna shoot something at 120 FPS and you're gonna show it at that kind of frame rate, you'd think they'd put a little bit more care into making the CGI movements look more human.
Because there's no bones. They have no bones.
No bones.
No bones. They're all octopus people.
Also, gravity isn't a thing.
Oh yeah, gravity get fucked.
You see, here's the main, and I'm just going to explain this as technically as possible because I am a hashtag gamer. Because of the frame rate and shutter speed. Now they shot at 120.
They did.
Right? Which isn't perfectly divisible by 24, which is what most films are shown at.
Yeah.
That is why at any other frame rate you get this huge disconnect. That's why you could still kind of buy The Hobbit at 48 FPS.
Nope.
I didn't
watched it
know.
at 48 FPS. It was one of the worst experiences of my life.
Yep,
Okay,
it was,
imagine
it was the
that,
first
like,
thing we watched in
mismatched.
IMAX here, so I'm glad Fury Road came out a week later to save it for us.
Yeah. The thing is, even if you're watching it at the intended frame rate, because of that frame rate, the thing is 24 FPS hides a lot.
Yes.
And like if you're showing a film at 60 FPS or God forbid 120 FPS, even if you're watching it at its native frame rate,
Lord forbid.
it's always going to look terrible. It's never going to look cinematic, and it's also going to capture.
It's gonna
like, stuff
capture
that- stuff
all the
that we-
worst little things.
It's like 24 FPS is like candlelight.
Yes.
You know, it hide. There's a lot that it hides in terms of like motion and stuff. Like your brain is interpolating. If that stuff's actually being interpolated for you, and you're just seeing it, it just
you
it just
see
looks like a
all the
home movie.
wrinkles. You
Yeah.
see all the creases,
I'd
and
still- that all
when
being said-
your motion tracking is not 100% on the face of your CG Will Smith, it does a little bit of this. You get a little bit of face drift.
I still desperately want to see that at its native FPS.
I mean, I got it up as high as I could
Yeah.
with you know, turn on the motion smoothing on my TV,
Jesus
and
Christ.
you know, I got the 4K legal purchase.
Yeah. Motion
So-
smoothing is fucking cancer.
Ooh,
it really
it was
is.
an experience.
It made me feel very ill.
Rip in peace.
Yeah.
What's next?
Next, because it just swapped because you put it on your list last minute, Joker.
Your care.
See, Joker wasn't even in my dishonorable
Nope.
mentions because it's just a distinctly average movie.
Yeah.
No,
It
the
is.
thing about Joker is it made me so angry I literally walked out of the cinema with a migraine.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was just so annoyed that this film is so shameless. Oh, remember, like, it's not about the film. The film is technically very well made.
Yes.
It's a great score, lots of good
I
acting.
love the score.
All that
love
stuff.
the score.
The
Acting
writing, the
great.
directing is
Like,
trash.
it's not.
Yes.
It's the writing, and it's more about like the behind the scenes stuff, like knowing the stuff that the director's been saying in interviews and looking at how that sort of comes across in the film. And the whole film just looks like the guy that made fucking Hangover 3 deciding, I want to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna outsmart the studios, and I'm gonna disguise my fucking auteur piece as a quote superhero movie unquote. And it's just lifting scenes straight from fucking Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
The internal
It's-
logic, the logic is so compromised by them deciding they want that aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
by putting it in the 80s.
But with no understanding of the 80s.
Yeah.
yeah, that was the weirdest disconnect from the production design standpoint. It's like, when is this movie set? I have no fucking idea. The timeline
I bet
technology.
they'll say
is
that's
so-
deliberate.
It's
Yeah.
got the look of the 80s, but the politics of the now.
It's
Yeah.
cheap as fuck. It does the whole like she wasn't there the whole time.
I hated
Yeah.
that fucking scene because, like, okay, look, like, you can do the she wasn't there the whole time thing. That's
fine.
perfectly valid. But don't show us every single time. It's like, we get it. It could just be that moment. He could just come to the realization, and the audience, if they're as smart as you think they are, will figure it the fuck out.
The moment I knew, because I was totally on board with it until he killed those guys and then he went back to the bathroom and he started dancing. I was like, okay, cool. You thought this would look very clever and abstract and stuff, but it's not justified at all. Like, what mental illness does this guy have?
X.
He dance.
Oh,
He's got the mental illness of dance.
Now,
And
you
the-
know
the-
what
the
mental
whole
illness he has? He has the one that
Society.
makes you a fucking human piece of garbage, which is every mental illness according to this fucking movie. Fuck Todd Phillips.
The whole
Sorry.
ending of
He
this movie is
really-
also the equivalent of and then he woke up.
And
Because
then
it's like,
he woke
we can
up.
do whatever we want with this whole ending, And is it in his mind or isn't it? Whoa, we've done such a good job of conveying our themes that we're also going to have the villain protagonist shout the themes like
But
verbatim.
themes that directly contradict what happens earlier in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Complete. And then I'm sorry, when I literally almost walked out of the cinema when it was like, oh cool, we're also getting a Batman origin.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Batman origin, I was like, oh, with the pearls.
The fucking
with the
pearl.
fucking pearls.
So it's a movie that's so transparent in what it's trying to do
It's
and
so
how it's doing it. It has no original thoughts.
And at the same time, it's so up its own ass about itself.
Yeah, wait, Jay, what is your quote? Like, how can a movie that's so far up its own ass shit the bed so badly? It just makes me angry. It's technically wonderful. Everyone that worked on it knows what they're doing. But,
Except Todd Phillips.
I was
going
gonna
to
say, it's someone who knows.
Who wrote the film? Todd Phillips.
It's someone who
Yeah.
knows what an Oscar-winning film or an artsy film looks like, and has all
And
the
feels
trappings
like.
of that. Yeah, it has the facade of that. And everyone around him is doing their fucking damnedest to make this a reality, but it doesn't have the intelligence or the substance.
It's like it doesn't pass the Turing test.
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, it just made me angry.
I also like how, because I watched it and I was like, this is just Falling Down.
Yeah.
Do you know Falling Down?
No?
It's about a man who, Michael Douglas?
Yeah?
I think
Yeah.
his name is. Unemployed man who, sits around and notices problems with society and then gets progressively angrier and angrier about it. And then goes
White
out.
Man, the movie.
And then goes out to enact vengeance
it's
upon
basically
people
just-
that make him angry. So I was just like,
What's it called?
Falling Down.
Okay, so it's Falling Down.
Taxi
meets
Driver.
King of Comedy meets
meets
Taxi Driver.
All the Cine from Taxi Driver. We'll take all the worst Cine from Taxi Driver.
Remember when I said how they choose the most boring fucking shot every chance they get? They fucking do.
The movie was framed so
badly.
terribly.
I'm glad through discussion, we can all agree.
I don't think it's I'm with Jason. I don't think it's a necessarily bad movie. It's just so fucking average.
No, it's just so up its
Well,
own. It's so
yeah.
exceptional in some ways, but it's got it's like a delicious meal, but there's a fucking deep, rich turd in the middle.
Yeah.
Like you can bite into this juicy, gorgeously made steak, but inside is just shit.
It's a 6 out of 10 that thinks it's a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. That's a perfect summary.
And it just makes me angry because it could have been so much more.
Could have been more.
You guys remember
Well, it's like
how
director
on
Krennic
this-
says, we're on the verge of greatness. We're this close.
Yeah. I was so on board for this movie.
I was
on board for it,
fucking there.
And then suddenly Martin Scorsese had less and less to do with it, and I was
Yeah.
he just kept distancing
like, he
himself.
just went
Scorsese was like,
because he fucking knew. He knew. And this is why you should worship Scorsese. But we'll get to that.
But we'll get to that.
I
fucking
know
get to
that
that.
one person who is voting on the Oscars does share our sentiments about Joker.
Oh, nice.
So
Good.
I'm hoping it's more widespread than that.
Okay, cool. Next.
Next, one that only Jason had on his list, but he put it very fucking high. The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
This I am pissed off that is this far down our list.
Well, I haven't watched it
If I could have given it 3 times as much points as this, I would have. This is by far and away one of the worst films that I have ever watched.
You broke it down to me yesterday a little bit, and it was
Okay.
Yeah,
terrifying.
break it down for the
So,
rest of us.
just to put
we'll
the
break it
concept
down.
into your heads of how the movie kind of goes, and it walks back on this concept in a absolutely hilarious way in the last 2 minutes of the film. But imagine if Sharon Tate was clairvoyant and used that clairvoyance to save her and her friends. That's basically the premise for the
That's
film.
the most tasteless thing I've ever heard.
This would be
But
on my
what if
good list.
hindsight,
This
though?
would be on my good list as one of the best B movies I've ever seen. If it weren't so tasteless and offensive in every facet of itself.
What the fuck?
Is it extremely sexist?
It is extremely sexist.
Is it racist as well?
I guess technically, because there's not a single person of color in it.
Does it look like it takes place in 1969? Bearing in mind that you have seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so you know what it looks like.
Perfect
does not.
production design.
Thomas
Oh, my
will get this. It looks like a Tomcat Productions.
Oh no! Are you serious?
Okay, it's on our
Holy
Tomcat.
shit!
We're doing
Tomcat
it.
films make
We're
You
doing
made
maybe
them hanging.
We're doing it. We're watching Haunting of Sharon Tate with the whole crew.
Tomcat films makes maybe the worst B grades in history.
They're worse than
Maybe.
Asylum.
They used the same blood splatter CGI VFX as Tomcat Productions does.
Amazing.
Oh my god. Dion, I wish you could understand the depths of this garbage from that window. Oh my god.
And the way it walks back, the ending at the end is they're like, it's all the police at the house, and you think, okay, they're gonna go and find the bodies of the 3 people that came in to try and kill them.
Yeah.
And she walks there and she looks at it, and it's the bodies of her and her friends. And she's a ghost, and they're all ghosts. And she goes to meet them, and they disappear into that.
Can I throw this mug at your face? I know you're not responsible for this movie.
But it feels
but
like
I
you
feel
are
like
responsible
I should
for it.
throw this mug in your face.
Also, one little fun little tidbit.
Oh, yeah?
Guess who plays Sharon Tate?
Ooh, 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 I know this one. I know this one. I know this one.
Okay.
Hillary motherfucking Duff.
That is correct.
No, what? Are
Yes.
you fucking high?
Did they also, as part of the production schedule, go and take a shit on her actual grave?
Yeah.
Someone really fucking hates Sharon.
Hillary Duff, are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
It's
No.
Jesus. Okay,
No, no,
cool.
no,
I'm
no, no.
physically unwell now.
I can't wait to watch this tonight.
It left every other bad movie I've watched this year
In the
dust.
okay.
And this film got fucking cinematic release.
And Twisted
was-
Pair did not. Where's
Yeah.
the justice?
Where is the justice? I'll tell you where it is. The fact that the next film on our list stars John Travolta and is directed by Fred fucking Durst.
This
What?
pile of shit.
The Fanatic.
What?
Hot damn.
Do tell.
Okay, I
Wait,
can
wait,
sum
wait.
it up in one
No, the
sentence.
first
Wait, wait,
line
wait.
of the film. You've watched the film, right?
Yes.
You've watched it. Dion, can you guess what the first line in the film is?
No, I can't.
I can't talk long, I gotta go poo.
Oh boy.
You remember in that good film Tropic Thunder,
Yes.
right? Where Robert Downey Jr.'s character says to Ben Stiller's character, "Never go full."
Yeah.
John Travolta did exactly that for The Fanatic.
Yeah.
In the worst
In the
possible,
worst-
most offensive way that he
We're
could.
not-
I mean, we're talking.
We're not talking.
bowl cut
We're not talking
suspenders.
milk here. We're not talking milk.
Well, is his character actually
Yes,
mentally...
his
Yeah.
character's developmentally challenged.
Yes. In fact,
We're not talking milk or
shit.
good time or
Does
or
Jim
what was the other
Carrey,
one?
does
The
90s Jim
Rover.
Carrey have a cameo?
Like
I believe he mentored him.
it is full on. It is full on,
Jesus.
and it is horrifying.
here's a picture.
Oh yeah.
Of John Travolta.
It'll tell you
Is
everything.
that where he has the vest on backwards?
No. This is just him in that picture. You know, that one.
Oh,
Yeah, the one
yeah,
that's
yeah.
easy to see. There you go.
That's him looking as normal. That's the most normal he
that's
looks in the
daytime.
film.
That's regular daytime look.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Like they go full on as offensive as they possibly could.
I
with
thought
it.
after People vs. O.J. Simpson, his career was like back on track.
I hope so too, because he was downright
Yeah, he was
good
fucking great in that.
Hey man,
Never forget he
Fred-
is a Scientologist.
Yeah, that's
Fred
true.
Durst directed.
They play Limp Bizkit
they-
in the car at one point. The guy
Yep.
asks his son if he wants to listen to Limp Bizkit.
Do they? Is it played?
Completely
Is it
unironically.
played for laughs or is it played
No.
as a drama?
It's a drama.
It's a
a
drama. It's about as
suspense
serious as they
drama.
could.
That's somehow worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a suspense movie about the dangers of fame and being a fanatic and blah, but it just comes off as, you know,
As an exploitation piece.
As Ernest goes to Las Vegas by way of Hollywood.
wow.
Like, yeah.
It's very, very bad.
It is horrendous.
Also, just remember the entire time we're going through this to put it in perspective of how bad The Haunting of Sharon Tate actually is. That all of these are significantly better.
I can't wait to watch this tonight.
Jesus.
I can't wait, Jason.
I'm pretty sure Haunting would have been our number one, where it had more of us seen it.
Indeed.
So next on the list, Dion, you'll have to take this one. Child's Play.
Yeah, it was. I was excited for it. It was getting
Of
good
course.
reviews. Mark Hamill doing the voice. Like I'm a Don Mancini fanboy, so I was skeptical at first, but I heard like apparently it's really really good.
The trailer looked good.
Yeah,
premise
the whole
looked
premise,
good.
like Mark Hamill does a great job. The whole premise, I like. The redesign actually really works in context.
Okay.
Because he's basically like Siri, but in doll form.
Right.
So the eyes are like they got like those glowing rings, you know, like the Home Assistants and stuff.
Yeah.
Great concept. Everything's fine, but obviously it deals a lot with kids, and
Because they called it child play and kind of had to.
yeah. Well, the problem is like the kids get the majority of the screen time. Yeah, and the child actors are not quite up to the task. And
They
it's
never
also
are.
it's also one of those things where the original Child's Play was like it had a lot of kids, but it was skewed towards adults.
Yes.
The actual film.
Yeah.
This one, for some inexplicable reason, skews towards younger children. So imagine like
What? So this
Yeah.
is a YA movie.
Yeah, like for young teenagers or older, or like just pre-teens or whatever. Like it plays out like a Spielberg kind of, you know, that sort of like kids together
Yeah.
overcoming things, but while also trying to be like an actual horror movie. And the
This
second
sounds
half is
really
just
confused.
fucking it's just. I think they were like, okay, cool, we got a bunch of kids, and then it does like the whole cheesy, you know, like the kids uniting at the end to fight him, and it's just, the second half just, the first half I was like, yeah, this is good. I thought it was going on my top 10, like good
Yeah.
movies. I was like, yeah, this is fucking great. And then there comes a moment where they kill a cat, and I was like, okay, fuck
Nope.
this movie. And then I was like, well, let's just see how much worse this gets. And it's just, by the end, I was just so fucking angry.
Uh-huh.
What a disappointment. It's my only really, like, deeply disappointing movie I watched. Just because it has such good promise, the premise works, the modernization, all on board, and then it's just like, who the fuck is this movie for? It's too hardcore for children, and it's too childish for an adult.
It's almost like the filmmakers realized that our generation watched it as kids secretly.
Yeah.
And they want to market it now to the same type of kids that we were.
Yeah.
But the thing
But
is, you
deliberately.
can't. Yeah.
and you like,
The thing
you,
is,
you
it
can't talk down
it wasn't
to
for kids. That's why
Yeah.
kids are like, yes,
Yeah,
keep
because it wasn't talking down to kids.
Yeah,
And this one
yeah.
like does the talk. Oh my god, the whole climax is so cheesy.
Tell us.
Ah no, it's like the launch of the second,
Version
second
2.
generation of these
Genesis.
toys, and then fucking like Chucky.
So the launch
he
of
sort
Chucky
he
Skies
sort
is what you're
yeah,
saying.
basically he sort of like
Sky
hacks
Chucky.
all the other dolls, and then and all of them are
I'm in the
like
Matrix.
they're it's all been
What
like
are they,
live action.
Are they
like,
the combat models?
yeah, it's all been like animatronics, and it's all looks fine. And then for the last act, like all the other ones are all CG.
So it's the burly brawl from the second Matrix.
Yes.
Where all the
Yeah.
Agent Smiths come and
and,
they're all
it's,
like,
and then it's like all these different models,
spaghetti
and they're all
man.
CG, and they look fucking
no.
terrible.
That's terrible.
Okay, anyway, enough of that.
Right.
I was just so disappointed.
What number are we on?
Speaking of cheese,
We're
we're,
on 5.
we're in the top 5 now. In number 4,
end game now.
yeah, in 4th position, even though I didn't actually put this on my bad list, 6 Underground.
Man,
Ew.
What
fuck
a crash
this
fire.
movie. What was your favorite part? Was your favorite part when Ryan Reynolds explained over voiceover no less than 4 different times what their entire mission was to no one?
No one.
4 times over voiceover, Ryan Reynolds explains their mission and what they're doing to no one.
I saw like 10 minutes of it at your
4
place, and I just
times.
your dad seemed to be enjoying it though. He was having a hell of a time.
You joined it good for the first 45 minutes of that
Okay.
film. He is like he was wondering what was going on
I need to.
because it gives you no context.
I need to tell you guys something.
But it's just
And
set piece after set piece after set
It
piece.
really comes into my enjoyment or lack thereof of the film. So when I watched this movie, I don't know how, I don't know why, but I forgot that this was a Michael Bay film. I had no idea.
In fairness, it does
How
look
did
like it
you
was
forget-
shot on
Okay,
a
no,
camcorder.
let me
Given
take
the
you on this
fact that the
journey.
first 10 minutes is 3 minutes of shooting.
Let me take you on this journey, because I didn't know it was a Michael Bay movie, so I just went into watch it like, oh, it's just a Ryan Reynolds shooting movie, so let's watch it. And I was like, from the first shot, I was like, fucking hell, this feels like a Michael Bay movie. Some dude's jacking his style so hard. And then the first car crash happens and those flare explosions come out. I was like, this is just a Michael Bay movie. What the fuck? This is just plagiarism. Like, can he sue? Like, so the whole movie, I was just like, man, this dude is jacking his style. So, like, even like the dialogue is
Michael
the same.
Bay wish he could have made. Because it only swears they use it.
Yeah, it's like, did he executive produce this? Like, I'm sure he's involved somehow. And then at the end, I was like, Michael Bay. I was like, wow, I feel
But it
very
looks like
stupid.
But it looks like it's filmed on like
On
early
a- on a-
2000s digital.
No, but that
It
is
is.
Michael Bay's auteur style. It's shit.
But I mean, like Bad Boys, the new Bad Boys doesn't look like that,
Well, he's not involved with the new Bad Boys.
isn't he? Oh, okay.
Not in a
Produce.
creative.
Yeah,
not in
it's
a
just
well,
like-
capacity.
well,
just
hey,
like-
that's a very strong word.
Yeah. Look, I'll
But,
tell you why.
I
let
mean,
me,
the team. Sorry, yeah.
let
Continue.
me tell you why I enjoyed parts of Six Underground. Because it was fun to see Michael Bay do R-rated action again for the first time in well over a decade. I mean, you've got to give it like the R-rated action he did looked cool. It looked cool as hell.
My favorite-
Even though it was fucking
It was
stupid.
it was unfocused. It was the same problem as all the Transformers films.
Yep. I didn't know
Too
what was
many
going
cuts,
on.
and the focal point of the screen keeps fucking changing.
You have
You
no
feel
idea.
nothing but tired.
You have no idea where anything is in relation to anything
Yeah.
else throughout the movie, except for the Florence scene, and that's just because I know the like layout of the city because
You've been there.
Video James.
Video James and I've been there. But yeah, no, it's terrible. My favorite part of the film is why he made his money, and it's an Insane Clown Posse lyric. Magnets, how do they work?
Yep.
He's a
He's a
created-
magnet magnate.
He's a magnet magnate. Literally. And like
hate you.
in many situations,
so much.
he
He
pulls
uses
off
magnets to
capers
save them.
to do magnets. I like the part where they're on the
he
boat.
makes like super
I love the
powerful
boat
magnets from
magnets.
the boat.
I love the part where they're on the boat and they create a giant magnet out of the boat, but they can still shoot with their guns because their guns are plastic, even though the bullets aren't.
No, the bullets are ceramic. They do explain
Ceramic,
that.
they did say the
Ceramic
bullets are
bullets.
ceramic.
Man, I think I tuned out by that point.
But my favorite
I
is
didn't
the
shoot
team
them.
that's made up of him,
Oh,
this billionaire tech genius, it's like a super
A Franco.
good doctor. You got your soldier, you got your spy, you got your assassin, and
You got
then
your
you got.
parkour guy.
I was just about to say, and then you got your dude who can run good.
And he doesn't even run that good.
No, he falls on shit all the time. He's shit at
He's the
parkour.
worst parkour
But Ryan
guy.
Reynolds is like, that's my guy. He's a parkour guy who did a slight crime the one time, and now because he might go to jail or maybe get a small fine.
A
He's
slap
gotta
on the
kill
wrist,
his
really.
Slap on the wrist. We're gonna pretend like he's dead. Your
yeah.
life's gone. It's
And
easier for you.
We also never established what the Franco brothers' crime was. He could have just been like a parking ticket.
Yeah.
And he died.
Given the scale of the other crimes, probably.
And he died for it.
But you're forgetting about how Honorable Soldier Man didn't actually commit a crime.
Oh yeah, no crimes for him.
He's just like, I would have let you pull the trigger.
I will let you murk those fucking terrorists.
Yeah.
I will let you
would've
kill those
I would have allowed
Arabs.
you to murder someone in cold blood. Unlike those pussy bosses you used to have.
Yeah,
back in the day.
fuck
which I think
the
kind of gets the
man.
point across.
Yeah.
Basically, at one point,
I like how they had a revolution in 20 seconds.
they did have a revolution.
They got
in 20
those
seconds.
signs up super quickly.
The branding was ready.
Yeah.
They got a billionaire magnet genius. But
Too
at
bad
one
they got
point,
shot
Michael
with
Bay
blades.
uses the film to basically tell the military, hey, you're not violent and cool enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going far enough, America. Your foreign policy should
You're
go
not going
further.
too far enough.
Oh my god. Okay.
So, let's all take a breath. We're into
The top three.
bottom three.
Three.
I sense a dark phoenix on the horizon.
Oh, there's more than just the Dark Phoenix. Because first we've got to get through A Boy from Hell.
What?
How is that only
Hellboy.
third?
I don't know. It was my
Oh.
number 2
Oh, I know how it's third.
because you
I'm
didn't
picking
watch
up on
it.
the patterns.
I haven't watched it.
I'm picking up on the patterns. Hellboy was absolute garbage.
There are very few.
Dog
There
shit
are very few
garbage.
movies in my life that I have watched and then stopped watching because I am angry and then had to rewatch later. Hellboy is one of them because the Hellboy intellectual property for me is really, really important.
Have you
I've
seen the board game?
yes,
Oh,
I
it's
haven't
so good.
played it though.
Julia got the Kickstarter edition with all the beautiful minifigs. Ooh. Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah, because like I love the Mignola comics. They're amazing, and for anyone who wants to read them, it's really easy because it's never had a reboot, it's never had a redone. It has a start and an end. You can always start Hellboy, and there's never like where do I get into it? You just start on issue 1. It's fucking amazing. It's great.
And there
like
aren't 17 billion issues.
yeah, and like Mignola's an amazing.
There's a lot of addendums.
There's a lot of addendums, but like it's basically a timeline, and this was just. It was just not Hellboy in any like we go on and on about what are faithful reproductions of characters in movies and how and like where do we draw the line and when is it the character, when is it not the character, and you can't always get the character because it doesn't always work on screen. I get that, but this is just the antithesis of all of the characters. Every one of the characters was so violently wrong.
Basically,
so
Batman using
violently
guns.
wrong. Yes, it is. It was exactly that. Like Professor
So
Bloom.
Zack Snyder's Batman.
Like, oh my god, there was and that's also what makes me angry is that the actors are good actors who I like in other things, but in this they're just fucking
Even
awful.
after it came out, David Harbour was like, that film was a mistake.
It was, and it annoys me that the creature designs in the final sequence were kind of cool,
They were, but
but
they were all
But hey-
terrible CG.
heavy on the practical
Yeah.
effects.
About as heavy as Devil May Cry 3.
The fucking the worst thing about it for me, I mean, I haven't seen it, but what does piss me off about the whole thing is hearing how bad it is and knowing that Del Toro's third film died so that this one
Yeah.
could live.
Yeah.
I hope Ron Perlman went to the premiere and just threw eggs at people.
I don't think he needed to. He could have just sit there looking smug. Like,
Yeah, he just sits there outside on a deck chair, just looking
Yeah.
at people as they come out, just going
yeah,
like, yeah.
They asked Doug Jones to cameo in it, and he was like, no.
Why? Wise choice.
yeah.
No, it's
Typical.
it's awful, and like Mila Jovovich is just terrible.
This is Mila
She's-
Jovovich.
she's
I'm
really
so
just
glad
terrible.
she's going to be in the Monster Hunter movie.
Well, of course she's in the Monster Hunter movie. Her husband is directing, which means she's in the Monster Hunter movie. Jason,
I feel so bad for you about that movie. Monster Hunter.
they
So
strap
it's already in my top 10 worst
they
movies
strap
of whatever year
Rathalos
it comes
parts
out.
to the Humvee.
Shut up, Thomas!
Oh, God. Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2.
I know what number 2
This is
is.
emotionally grueling.
Dark Phoenix?
Look, technically, number 1 and number 2 have the same amount of points.
Ah.
So, we technically have a tie, but because it's going to play better in editing and in post, we'll first do Dark Phoenix.
I'm so curious about
Boy,
what
did
number
that
1 is.
movie shit the bed so hard that it gave me retroactive prostate cancer.
Retroactive.
Retro, as a child.
Yeah.
He's fine now, but as a child, his life was terrible.
Yeah, no, it gave the younger me watching the X-Men animated show when I was a little kid prostate cancer.
Yeah, you just need to peel
That's
all the
how bad
time for some reason. You can't make it through all episodes.
Yeah.
You go back to young Marcus watching it now, you can't even make it through a full episode without having to get up and go and pee.
That's what
Yeah,
I just said.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
But
That's what I
I'm
said.
imagining the
Yeah, I
image
know,
of
but
it
why
rather
would you,
than
why
just...
would you do that?
It's a time travel joke.
It's a
would you
time
do that?
travel joke.
Oh, cool, nice, like the X-Men.
No, that's just a regular
They're all the
joke.
same
now.
fucking age. This 30-odd-year-old man is in his 50s.
yeah.
Oh no.
Look,
And this is set 10 years before Singer's X-Men.
Yes.
So that's a tough 10 years for a lot of those characters.
no.
Magneto has a rough time.
no,
Michael,
let me just tell you what
Those
it
10
is.
years were hard on Michael, man.
Meth is a hell of a drug.
Being married to Alicia Vikander must be sucking the life out of him.
Poor man. The poor. No, it was
No, it was-
badly made. It was rushed. It was. Even the title card was
Ironically
unfinished.
rushed for a film that wasn't productive.
I like the jazz hands
You
off.
pointed out on the title
Yeah.
card that you could see the edges of the JPEG.
I mean, it's
And the title. Oh god, that fucking
everything is so rough and so bad, and I mean, but
the jazz hands off with the helicopter was my favorite.
what did we expect from Simon Kinberg? You know what I
More
mean?
than nothing at all.
I mean, he wrote the first. He wrote X3, right? He didn't direct it, and then he wrote it again and decided, I'm gonna direct this one.
This
We
is
should
my
have.
The problem with
time.
the last one was the direction. My vision wasn't making it onto the screen.
Well, I mean,
I like the forest rave.
Brett Ratner-
Did you like the forest rave?
I love the forest. I
Where-
love
where
that
Storm
Dazzler
just
has
makes
sight.
ice.
Where Storm is an ice dispenser?
I love Dazzler's
Literally.
cameo.
No, I did not love it.
I loved it. I loved it because here it is, the fucking 90s, and she's in full disco gear for no goddamn reason.
Because she's Dazzler.
She's got a 90s outfit.
Could be worse. Could be Jubilee.
Oh, I hate you guys.
No, remember she already was.
I don't remember that. I blocked it out of my mind.
Like Dark Phoenix was just, it was trash.
The nice thing about Dark Phoenix, though, to give it credit, is that it spawned so many entertaining YouTube videos. Like, I've probably spent more time watching YouTube
Watching
videos
VFX
and
breakdowns
being
about-
entertained by, like, spoofs of it and breakdowns of it and critiques of it, like that I would have just spent actually watching the movie.
Then boy is number one gonna light a fire for you.
Yeah,
It already has.
It already has.
You've been watching every video you can on it.
Yep.
The number one worst movie of 2019,
What could it
according to the
possibly be?
CineBeards,
What
is
could it be?
officially Cats.
Yay! Go Tate!
I should clarify, pre-patch Cats.
I watched
Pre-patch
Pre-Patch Cats.
You watched pre-patch. I'm pretty sure I watched post-patch because it was at Universal Studios where I watched it.
Yeah, they
Oh,
would
yeah,
have got that
Winnipeg.
out
So they
quick,
were-
quick.
Yeah.
Fucking beautiful cinemas, by the way. Lovely recliners. And also, everybody in the cinema burst out laughing when Idris Elba went meow and disappeared.
Oh man. So tell me about this nightmare.
My favorite
Furry
was
the
the
musical.
Don't Call Me Fat. I'll sing a song about how much I eat.
The thing is, I've never seen the stage production of
Neither have
Cats.
I, but I'm convinced now it's really terrible.
Oh, no,
because
it's
these songs suck.
No, it is like
It's one of those. It's one of those things that that works in a very surreal kind of way when you're watching it and it's actual people in costumes and it's like you're more just sort of like it's more like an abstract
So
piece.
is it also
It's exactly
2
the
hours
same. Yeah.
of cats
It's-
introducing themselves?
and then fucking off. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But in the stage show, there's a certain sense of whimsy to it because it's people in costume.
And because
This
like,
is an eldritch horror.
yeah.
And there was no fucking Greg Catnear. What's up
That's
with
bullshit.
that?
That's
bullshit.
It's an abomination. Like I couldn't look away. I was so horrified. I've never experienced fear in a movie like that before.
It is my 2019 horror of the year.
Yeah. Midsommar, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Cats is where it's at.
But yeah, no. Ooh.
What my favorite was seeing
Meow.
Dame Judi Dench's regular
No.
old lady hands.
No.
Because
for about 20 minutes of the film, where a couple of the cats are introducing themselves, every now and then it just cuts back to Dame Judi Dench.
Yep. Thinking
Judi
about how
Dench
she wants to die.
just lying in a basket with her little hands over like cat hands, just lying in a basket watching these fucking cats introduce
Yeah, because
themselves.
she gets to choose the one that dies and gets reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now she gets to choose.
But-
Jellicle is them being horny, I think.
that's the Jellicle. No, they're all Jellicle cats. Because I
but they're
I
all
listened to the
horny.
lyrics of the song. Every fucking cat is a Jellicle cat.
And it's the Jellicle Moon.
And is a Jellicle.
You need to watch
moon.
the pitch meeting about this.
I don't think I want to.
No.
This movie
what's
broke me in a very,
what's
very
your
personal
favorite
way.
part?
My favorite part is the horrible nightmare sequence with Rebel Wilson and the fucking. Okay, so they tell you. So they tell you about. We all know from the trailers that horrible faces are CG'd onto cat bodies, but not exactly very good because you get a little bit of wobble every now and again. but they don't tell you that they've done the same thing to mice and to cockroaches.
Are these the ones that scream for their lives?
Yes, and then get eaten by Rebel Wilson's character.
Jeez.
You mean
Just
the
by
fat
Rebel
joke?
Wilson.
Yeah.
You mean the fat joke?
Yo,
Yeah, there are two fat jokes in that film.
I counted like individually about 4 fat jokes.
Her song is one long fat joke.
Yeah.
So
And so is James Corden's one.
yeah.
It's really great because he's singing about like how much he eats and how much he loves it, and then there's a gag where he can't do a thing, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm so serious about my weight, and why would you highlight this?" And then he goes back to singing about how fat he is. It's fucking bizarre.
Communism.
It is.
I can't. This of
What
all
about
these
Ian-
films, this is
What
one
about
Idris
I
Ian
Elba
Tate
is
wait
so
to watch.
naked. Idris Elba is so naked. He's so naked as a cat. It's so fucking horrifying.
Why do some of the cats have clothes and some of them don't?
Why do some of the cats have clothes and some of them don't? Why do some of them have hands and some of them don't? Why do some of them have alternating hands and gloves and some of them don't? What is going on with the production
some of them
design?
magic.
There are 2 hip hop cats
Yeah.
that wear
Yeah.
Nike shoes that
Yeah,
don't have
some
the
of
laces
them have
down.
shoes.
What?
Yeah, they're 2 racial stereotype cats.
Oh, this is like the jazz of this universe.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
dude, it's
my
fucked.
God.
It's fucked. It's properly fucked.
I can't. Honestly, of all these films, this is the one I absolutely cannot wait to watch.
Yeah.
It is a wild fucking
If you
ride.
gaze into the abyss will gaze
There is
into
not.
you.
There is not.
What about Ian Catkillen?
Guess who
my
really
gosh.
can't sing?
But
Ian McKellen.
but fair play to him, he did not phone it in.
No, he gave
that man-
130%.
To an uncomfortable extent, became a cat.
Yes, and Jason highlights uncomfortable very, very
At one point,
correctly.
you like walk backstage to where he is, and there's Ian McKellen
Nope.
Yep.
drinking milk from a saucer.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say licking his genitals.
No,
That would be
just
cool.
his
I'd
face in
watch
a
that.
saucer of milk.
I watch Ian
Poor
McKellen
man.
licking his genitals.
And then he exits the scene going meow 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 meow.
Seriously. The movie is a fucking horror
I
show.
absolutely cannot wait to watch this movie.
No, it's so bad.
It's gonna be fantastic.
Nice. 4 times.
Yeah?
All right, and what's the real number 1?
The real number 1, because we
I
set
thought
this
this
up.
was number 1.
No.
Oh Christ!
No, the real number 1, as with every year, as is tradition, is Batman v Superman:
Damn right.
Dawn of Justice.
Yep, that's...
We're not gonna let that one slide.
we're never fucking
That's
letting
right,
that
That's
go.
got enough shit to just carry us through for decades.
We will be at episode 1000.
Shitty
And
inertia.
still, they will re-release and remaster that movie, and we'll still call the original the worst movie of all time.
Yeah. Until
The-
they release the Snyder cut of Justice League, then maybe.
Is Batman v Superman worse than Batman v Superman Extended Edition? Because I can't rightly tell, because when we watched the Extended
we were
Edition,
drunk.
when we subjected poor innocent Base,
I think
The
it's somehow.
extended
I think
edition.
it's
Oh, that
actually
sweet summer
somehow.
child.
I think the extended one is actually somehow worse.
because there's more of it.
If only because because the theatrical cut, you're like, well, maybe there's just stuff that like makes all of this better that was cut out.
Yeah, stuff that makes
when
it
they
make
added
sense.
in everything that was cut out, it's still fucking awful,
Yeah.
and it's just more of the awfulness.
What,
Yeah.
what I can tell you is the extended edition. Yeah, it just adds.
The fuck was
What
that?
the fuck was that?
That was
A
my.
timer.
That was my phone.
Buckets!
Oh, I'm so good. What's going
I
on
was
in my
like,
studio?
why do you have an egg timer in here?
I'm so hungry.
What was I saying?
Something about how you're
Extended
unprofessional.
Edition.
Yeah, very
Something about how I'm unprofessional. Oh,
Look
yeah,
how professionally are.
extra-
We're
the
all
ex-
here in our
the
fucking
extra-
shoulders pants.
the extra bits.
Comfort house bands.
The extra bits that they put into the extended cut, like try to explain some of the stuff that kind of didn't make sense in the theatrical cut, but it doesn't explain them well.
And it doesn't explain the most egregious things. So.
Yeah.
Man, I hate cats.
I can't wait. I cannot fucking wait to watch that movie.
The thing is, Cats I will watch again as like
Yeah.
With
Like
somebody
you
who
watched
hasn't
The
seen
Room.
it. Yeah, you haven't seen Cast before. I'll sit down.
Yes,
I'll watch
but
it
I'll
with
never do that with Dark Phoenix.
I will
I'll
never do that with
fucking
Batman
never
v
do it.
Superman. Never.
Yeah. No,
Nope.
no, not again.
No. To be fair, we tried that because we thought the extended edition might make it better.
It was just longer.
We have been the CineBeards.
We have been the CineBeards, and what
We
a lovely
apologize.
start to the year. Join us next week for our
For the good times.
Best.
the good ones.
The
Yeah,
good
our
times
favorites
with
of
the El
2019.
Royale.
Which is a hell of a list, and spoiler alert, a Marvel movie isn't number one.
Bum, bum, bum.